Good morning. Come on, we're in the South. Y'all can do better than that. Good morning. All right. I want to tell you how deeply honored I am to be with all of you. I'd like to begin my remarks by recognizing John Hope Bryant, my friend and the chairman and chief executive officer of Operation Hope, and James Bailey, the chief executive officer of the Atlanta operations, for inviting me today. I was excited to accept this invitation, not only because I believe in the work of Operation Hope, but because I strongly believe that financial literacy is a strong component of a healthy and thriving city. Many Americans and Atlantans need better resources and targeted educations to help them understand the most important issues facing their finances. And that's what we're working on today. Schools, families, governments, and financial institutions must all play a role in promoting financial literacy. And I couldn't be happier that Operation Hope bases its work in the city of Atlanta. And as our national leaders are struggling to balance the nation's budget, just as many cities are, having a population that is well educated and well informed in their own lives is becoming more and more valuable. The cost of financial ignorance is extremely high, leading many people to incur avoidable charges and fees from things like making late credit card payments or paying only the minimum amount due or overspending their credit limit and using cash advances. To ensure we have the strongest, most globally competitive economy possible, our nation, our state, and our city needs its citizens to be able to manage their financial lives well. To get there, we must make a commitment to raising the level of financial literacy among Americans and Atlantans. Financial literacy among individuals results in more stable communities, healthier communities, and also stronger families. Improved financial literacy, particularly early in life, results in a higher standard of living over the long term, and that's good for all of us. And as we rise out of the Great Recession, we need to ensure that all Atlanta residents, families, and growing businesses have access to the tools and guidance they need, and that's why this summit is so important to me. It's also important because we have an amazing array of organizations, states, cities, and countries that are actually choosing cooperation over conflict. And I think that this is going to be a very important theme over the next 10 years. When we work together, when we decide to take on problems together, I think that there is no question that we get more done, we are far more productive, and we certainly change people's lives. We also need to understand that we have a tremendous opportunity in front of us. The United States of America, the state of Georgia, cities like Atlanta, cities all across the country can no longer afford to leave any population behind. And that's what today is really all about. You know, I was reading Thomas Friedman's book, That Used to Be Us, a little while ago, and reflecting on it. And he had an important section of that book where he talked about how much healthier the United States would be if we really took advantage of the energy and the vitality of all of our populations, Black people, rural people, Latino people. And what he talked about in his book is by actively engaging, improving the capabilities of those who have been left out or locked out, we could increase our economic productivity by about $400 billion a year in the United States of America. If you carry that out over 10 years, that's about $4 billion in economic productivity. So when we decide to go into the most challenged neighborhoods in cities like Atlanta and other cities across America, we really do strengthen the tapestry of our country and improve our nation's GDP in a significant way. I also want to thank you for being in Atlanta today because I believe that cities are ascendant. And Operation Hope has a vital role to play in strengthening not just Atlanta, but cities across the United States. As we sit in this ballroom today, for the first time in the history of the world since we've been recording it, the majority of the population lives in the world's cities. So that number is now 50%. In the United States of America, the story is far better. More than 70% of the population in the United States lives in our metros, and more than 70% of our GDP is created in our nation's metros. Why does that relate to the Financial Dignity Summit? Because if you go into the most challenged areas in cities across the United States of America, you have the greatest opportunity to significantly improve the nation's GDP, which makes us more globally competitive, but it also changes the lives of people who merely want an equal opportunity, not a guarantee of an equal outcome. So I wanted to be here with John today because the work that you're doing is vital. It is needed. And I wanted you to know, as the mayor of the city of Atlanta, that I'm grateful for your work, and I'm happy that you're here this morning. God bless you.